Hi, this is a Swede Speaks, and today is January 33rd, 2017. And I'm going to say a few words about the most persecuted group in the world right now, which happens to be Christians. Us Christians, I would like to say. Because the people persecuted are my brothers and sisters. Anyway, if you want information about the persecution of Christians around the world, in different countries and different areas, I would strongly recommend you to visit opendoors.org. They will give you the facts. And, well, anyway. In the Swedish government's foreign declaration, there is not a word about persecuted Christians. In June 2016, the Secretary of Foreign Affairs in the Swedish government, Mrs. Margot Wallström, appointed a special envoy to coordinate the Foreign Department's work against anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, two prioritized areas for the Swedish government. I am not even going to explain why Islamophobia isn't even a real thing, but anyway, another time. The anti-Semitism part confuses me, because the Secretary of Foreign Affairs of the Swedish government, Mrs. Wallström, has managed to put Sweden in a really, really bad relationship with the State of Israel, while Sweden has been sending money to the Palestinian Authority and recognized the fictional state of Palestine. And she is not wanted in Israel. I mean, they don't want her there, so she cannot go there. Nice work. Very nice work. And now I am ironic now, if you missed it. But anyway, there is not a word in that declaration about the Christians. And, I mean, you could just start speculating. Do they think that Christians, per definition, cannot be persecuted? Is this some kind of neo-left theory about power? That white Christian middle-aged cisgender males are the ones in power, and the rest ones are oppressed, and thus Christians, per definition, cannot be oppressed or persecuted? Is that it? Or is it even worse, that a lot of these Christians are persecuted by Muslims? And as I mentioned, Islamophobia is a prioritized area for the Swedish government. Do they think it would be Islamophobic to say anything about the persecution of Christians performed by Muslims? I mean, you could ask the Copts about that. You could ask the Christians in Lebanon. You could ask the Christians in Iraq. Or for that matter, there is a large group of Christian Assyrians living in Sweden. Many of them live in Södertälje, which is close to Stockholm. Mrs. Wallström could just commute there and talk to them and ask them about it. They could have a lot to tell her, both about their own experiences and about the experience of those of their relatives who are left behind in these areas. We could compare this, the actions of the Swedish government and the non-actions of the Swedish government. How they refuse to see the reality because it doesn't fit their map. I mean, there is an old joke in the Swedish army, which is, if the map isn't in accordance with reality, we'll follow the map. And that is used as an internal joke for those of us who actually did military service back in the days. It's a pretty good one. The sad thing is when this joke starts to apply to reality. And we could as I was going to say, I digressed a little because I couldn't help it. If we compare the Swedish government to the Trump administration, I mean, he hasn't been there for more than, what is it, 11 days now? Not the full 2 weeks yet. And he has already declared that he wants to prioritize Christians. Oh, because we have to save them and we have to help them. And he is absolutely right about that prioritizing. There are some countries in Central Europe, that used to be called Eastern Europe, which was more of a political thing than a geographic thing, but anyway, that have the same idea about this, that if we're going to take in refugees, we'll take in the Christians. We don't want to take in more Muslims, well, because they've seen what happened to Sweden. They've seen what happened to Germany. They've seen what happened to France. They've seen what happened to the United Kingdom. They don't want that, understandably. Anyhow, and of course, the short-term solution is to do just that. The long-term solution should be to do, well, the only thing, I mean, the Middle East is really Christianity's basic area. That's where we came from. Christianity came from the Holy Land, Israel, and then it spread over the world, to the north, to Europe, to the south, to Africa, to the east, to China, and then to the New World. And there isn't a single Christian state in the Middle East. There are a few Christian countries in Africa, not in North Africa, but because that is all Islamized now. Even though the Copts, for instance, they are the native population of Egypt, and they are Christians. The Muslims are descendants of invaders, and maybe a few converts. Well, yeah, but anyhow. So what we need a Christian state in the Middle East. A state that does not do the mistake of Lebanon. You should listen to Miss Brigitte Gabriel when she a lot of clips on YouTube where she tells about this, how Lebanon went down the drain after letting Muslims in. What we need is a Christian state in the Middle East that does not let in Muslims and which is protected, I was going to say by the international community, but really, which is protected by the United States and maybe Russia, maybe the UK, and, well, others that join forces. But first of all, protected by the strong ones. And also help to build a strong defense. But until that happens, the Swedish government should be really, really ashamed. I don't think they have the decency to be ashamed. I don't know if Ms. Wallström, the Swedish Secretary of Foreign Affairs, if she is aware of this. I mean, she should be. There is an organization called Demand for Action, led by one of these Assyrian Swedes, Nuri Kino. He has even spoken in the US Congress. So, I mean, she should know about this. So probably she just refuses to acknowledge it. I mean, it's like when Mr. Obama, the ex-president, he refused to take the word Islamic terrorism in his mouth. He did not want to recognize that Christians were persecuted by Muslims. But he is gone now. And thank God for that. And now there's a new sheriff in DC, President Trump, and he knows this. That much we can be sure about. And I just hope and pray that there will be a solution. I mean, if you're a praying person, pray for the persecuted Christians. Pray for their comfort. Pray that there is a solution given to them. One which does not include converting to Islam. That being said, and if you're not a praying person, you can still call for something to be done. You can talk about this. You can inform people. You can do a lot of things. But something has to be done. This is A Swede Speaks. Have a nice day.